Yes, yes, welcome back to the Ratcave. It's Ratzi for DJKit, and today I am joined by my boy, it's DJ R-Kid. R-Kid,
how you doing?
Welcome to the Ratcave. To be fair, mate, you've been here a couple of times.
Third time, maybe?
Third time, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, whatever.
Something like that.
But originally, I actually had you in, I remember back in the day, mate, this is years back now, I really put you on the spot for a live stream on the Rain 12s and the 72. Do you remember back when I used to do the live podcast?
Remember it well.
And yeah, I remember your first time ever using the Rain 12s and the 72 setup. And I put you in exactly the same position today, even though this isn't obviously live.
No, but you still sort of dropped me in it a little bit.
This is your first time ever on the Pioneer DJ DDJ-REV7.
Yes.
So, just as a little bit of background for everybody, the reason why I've got you in for this, apart from obviously being one of my boys, bit of background history, we've been DJing together. Mate, I was thinking about this earlier, it's actually 13 years that we've sort of known each other now and been DJing, sort of on and off DJing together.
Yeah.
But your setup, tell everyone what your go-to setup is.
I've always been 1210s and a mixer, basically, obviously.
Yeah. But I
started off mixing vinyl, like hip hop and stuff like that, and then moved to Serato years back now, and then just stuck with that basically. I've dabbled with a few controllers in the past.
The bad experience. Yeah, we'll pretend that never happened, mate.
I just sort of try and forget about that, but. I've always...
He didn't get on with it. I'm not going to say which controller it was, but I remember you... But, mate, it kind of brings me on to this, because you have always been a turntable, two turntables and a mixer, and actually it's always been a Pioneer mixer. Yeah. So your current mixer that you've got at home is... Well, you've got a pair of Technics.
I've got a pair of Technics, obviously Serato, and I've got a DJM 450. Yeah. And I occasionally... get the opportunity to use a S9, which is if I had to choose to go out and buy a new mixer, it'd probably be like an S9 or something like that. I'm happy with that. Which is why when this popped up and I saw this, hang on a second.
So, well, mate, this is it, isn't it? So this is what, for me, I mean, when this got released, I was straight on the phone to you when I was like, and when I did my first video with this, and I kind of and I had it here for the first time, you came round to borrow my S9, and I was like, mate, come on,
have a little look.
And and I remember you hopping on it then and being like, but today is the first time that you've actually spent some real time on it. Guys, head over to the DJKit Instagram, by the way, and in fact the YouTube. I'll link it in the description of this, of R-Kid's literally first time cutting up. I've done a reel of it, of him just having a little scratch. And actually also, while we're on other videos, I'm not going to be going through all of the specific features of this DDJ-REV7 in this video. I've done that video. It's about 45 minutes long. I will link it in the description of this one, where I literally pull this thing apart and go every single feature for feature. This, for me, is just a video about your opinion on this, coming from someone who uses two turntables and a mixer, and actually these days now more of like a battle mixer, an S9, which is pretty much this, right? Yeah. So, I mean, mate, let's have a little chat about it. So first and foremost, mate, obviously, let's assume that you're kind of used to the mixer section, right? So we'll talk about that, but the platters.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you said to me about the platters was, can you slow them down? You had them on 33.
Yeah.
But...
I don't know. I think that was maybe just my mind playing tricks on me, because sort of like 5 minutes later, it felt fine. Yeah. So... That was my initial sort of thing, like, whoa, it's...
This was within the first 30 seconds of you hopping on.
It felt fast.
But maybe because they're smaller platters,
obviously. It was a 45, but it was on 33 sort of thing, and I was thought, hang on a sec. But literally 5 minutes later, you're used to it. So it's maybe like a mind-hand thing, and used to just having a little bit more reach out
on a 12-inch
vinyl than the smaller platter. But
I mean, mate, you were used to it straight away.
Yeah, to be honest, once you get over that, it's pretty easy to handle. It's you know, for cutting and scratching, you can be a lot more precise. It's like when you put the needle, obviously, or if you're using 45s, you know, your cuts, you've got to be a lot quicker and on the ball. But you know, with that, you get a sharper response, I find. I guess that's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, sure, yeah. But yeah, like I said, you were straight on it afterwards. You got used to it really quickly, and actually, it probably isn't even a sort of problem or a thing. It was just you being like, "This is new." Like,
yeah. But at the same time, it was like the second thought in my head was like, it's fun. You know, it's like a fun bit of kit to use. It's easy. It all sort of it's the transition is easier than you'd think it would be.
It was straight away. So, right, mate, the next question about the platters as well is this actually isn't a piece of vinyl. You know, there is another controller, the Rain 1, which is a physical bit of vinyl, which obviously this has got the screens inside the jog wheels. So this is why, and this is actually kind of made of like a Perspex-y kind of material. How close to that are you bothered about this? Would you prefer it to be a real bit of vinyl?
To be honest, if you hadn't said that,
you wouldn't have.
No, I would have just assumed that they managed to, like, you know, they've
cut a hole in a vinyl.
Piece of vinyl and somehow merged that in with the screen. You know, and it was actually like technically it was vinyl.
That's kind of what
the feel is. You know, you can't tell me,
mate. I said,
but to me, you're a hard push to tell the difference between that and actually fingers on vinyl, fingers on that. Close your eyes. I don't think you're really gonna.
I said in my original video, I kind of felt like Pioneer had like reinvented the new feel of vinyl with this. It's grip, and it is hot as anything in Ratcave, and you know, hands are sweaty and everything, and you didn't lose grip or anything. You know,
no, that was the least of my thoughts of it. I didn't think for a second like, what's going on, you know, with the grip or it's slippy or anything like that. You know, it's just
okay.
That was not even on my radar. And like I said, if you hadn't told me that, I wouldn't have been none the wiser. You know.
So then, speaking again, like I said about the screens in here, obviously you're not used to having that.
No.
Did you find yourself looking at the waveforms in here rather than looking over at like you normally would look at your Serato screen on your laptop? Because
I think if you're just having if you've got a scratch vinyl there, it's so easy just to look down and just see where your cues are and stuff like that. Playing a full set on it, you know, I would be looking for my laptop. So I guess there's the option to turn these off if you're. Oh, mate, for sure. You've
got different. That's the 45. You've got different ways to look. So the displays, you can just have completely the waveforms off. That's your own. That's the logo of the artwork. You can put your own on. Yeah. That emulates the Serato screen. But also, mate, what you can do, I forgot to do it for you, is that you can actually put a marker on so that you can get all of your cues on wherever you want. But also, it comes with stickers that you can put on the actual vinyl as well, which I haven't put on this yet. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess using it sort of kind of straight out of the box as I did, it was easy enough just to crack on with it. And yeah, I'd have to get more involved to change the set, find the best one that works with me. But I think for me, initially, if I sort of took it out and played a set, I would turn these off and just use my laptop to start with, and then gradually. But you likes what you likes, and you knows what you know, isn't it? I've been using 1210s for the past.
Yeah, this is it. But then this is why you're the perfect candidate for this, because I know that the gigs that you play, you do actually take your turntables with you sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, if they haven't got them there.
Yeah.
There's no.
But this is why you were looking for something. This is why you bought that controller all those years ago, and this is to try and make your life easier and stuff. Mm. And this is why this tickled your fancy so much, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'd be happy to take, if I had one of these, I'd be happy to just leave the turntables at home and take it out and know that I can still have the feel of what I want to do with two 1210s and an S9 and have it there. And, it's just, I'd still enjoy it. You know, I wouldn't have like, you know, there's like a balance between enjoying what you're doing and then there's like
concentrating.
Is my setup right? Am I, you know, concentrating and stuff like that and getting wound up with your equipment?
Yeah.
I think there'd be none of that getting wound up, and it would be like, right, I can use this, I can enjoy it.
You know your way around it from a turntable and a vinyl point, because you've covered gigs for me before where, again, mate, I always just throw you in deep end with all this stuff. You know, you've had to use CDJs and a battle mixer, and I remember you asking and being like, do they sort of, you know, am I going to be alright?
Yeah, that was a different. That was like, it was tricky, a lot. Yeah, you know, so much more trickier than this, and the feel wasn't. I felt like I was just, you know, mixing blind a bit, sort of thing. You're doing that, but with this, it is.
It's a comfortable transition from vinyl over to a controller. It's almost like you're not playing on a kind of controller.
Yeah,
and like,
you're just enjoying it from the moment you sort of get on it. You know, I haven't even looked at any of this. I'm just looking at the mixer, which I know sort of like pretty much identical, and the platters really and how it feels. And from that point of view, it's great. And obviously, you know, there's a million more things you can do with it, and you know, use it to its full, you know, capabilities and stuff.
So, mate, right, we touched on it quickly. What you said about the mixing section here. Mm-hmm. This is laid out. I mean, we do keep talking about the S9 because that's what you've played on. The S9 is obviously discontinued now, so this is actually technically more of an S7 layout.
Okay. Yeah.
But you found your way around it after using the S9 and knowing that Pioneer. I mean, this is literally just a Pioneer battle mixer. You know, you've got the paddles. You know where you're going. You slip straight in there with your hot cues and everything like that.
Yeah.
You know. So the mixer section, just no-brainer, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so the next question, and like the sort of big question, I think, which has been on a lot of people's minds when this came out, was the placement of the tempo faders up here.
Yeah.
And also whether or not, if you are leaning towards the tempo faders or whatever, whether or not you're going to hit these buttons and completely kill the music because of that instant scratch, and like you've got the looping section up here and stuff like that. First of all, and I already know the answer to this anyway, but do you like the placement of the of the pitch faders?
Ideal for me. That's where having decks in battle style, that's where it would be anyway. And naturally, thinking about it, when you do reach for that on a 1210 or whatever, when you're reaching for that fader, you're being careful when you got there because you don't want to knock the needle.
Right.
So you'd have to be pretty.
That's a great argument, mate.
Clumsy to knock any of that when you're grabbing for that, because naturally you go up and over and move that rather than through any of those buttons.
Yeah.
And I you know, that's me. I didn't have a problem with it moving the pitch or anything like that.
Yeah. But the beauty of this obviously is that you don't have a needle. So I think another argument could be the more creative that you're getting with these, because these up here, this is the instant scratch, which I'll ask you about in a minute anyway, because I know that you were quite impressed with that. But these also double up as hot cues as well. Yeah. So like, you know, if you're playing that and you go up there, oh God, you know, start the tune again, everybody's giving you the happy wave sign. But so, I mean, for you, that's a really good point that you're going up and over. And I guess once you've been used to this, then you know where you're going with that anyway. So no issue. Yeah. So the instant scratch. So what we were trying to do was actually, we were trying to get this set up on our kid's MacBook. While we were downloading the driver and all of that stuff, I was like, I'll tell you what, mate, while we're waiting for that, just instant scratch. Like, this wasn't even plugged into any laptop or anything. Mm-hmm. And well, I was literally just like, it's, go for it, mate. And you were straight in, you were like, oh my God, you know, so.
Yeah.
In terms of like, you know, not messing around with like opening up Serato and having it, you can literally walk past this in like your living room and just be like, all right, quick.
Yeah. Just a little practice. On 10 minutes.
And it's such a touch, but in terms of what did you think of the built-in scratch noises and stuff? I mean, quite restricted. Would you like to?
Yeah, I mean, if you could create your own, you know, upload your own into there and create your own scratch banks, I'm sure they're thinking of that, right?
Well, mate, so my argument here is that you can drag your own, you can go into the REV7 utility settings.
Yeah.
And you can put your own logo so that it appears in the jog wheels.
Yeah.
So I'm sure at some point...
It's more important to be able to put your own samples in there to me, but...
It is, but that is just the instant scratch mode. But obviously when you're using this with Serato, this has got the scratch bank feature, which you can put as many samples in that as you want.
Yeah.
But it would be nice, I think, to have the option to be adding your own samples into that instant scratch.
Yeah.
I do think as well, though, with that instant scratch, you are a little bit limited. You can use the effects, the built-in hardware effects, but you can't change the range of the pitch. So you can only, say for this drum beat, you can only have that at 92 or 108. It won't go, you know, on like within Serato, for example, you can do the tempo range. So I think that goes all the way to like plus or minus 50 or whatever. So you can speed it up.
Yeah.
Just something like that, which... you know, any day and age with all the controllers these days, a firmware update or whatever can kind of fix that. And
well,
also,
that's what you think. Like they get it out and they get, you know, more and more feedback and opinions and stuff, and then you know, make the changes that they want to make. You know. Yeah.
Well, one of the big changes that I hope is coming, not a change, but something that I want to come for this REV7, mate, is for it to work with Rekordbox. Like it works with Virtual DJ now. It works with Algorithm's DJ app, and Where's the Rekordbox compatibility? Pioneer DJ. I said it in my first video. Where is it, mate? I'm waiting. I'm ready to bin everything else that I've got and commit to this if you make it Rekordbox compatible. But, you know, as a Serato boy, like...
It's not a concern for me, but, you know, but I can see what you're saying.
I mean, so, mate, should we get some, like, final thoughts from you on this? In a nutshell, like...
Yeah.
What's your favourite features of it? What are your standout features on it? And is there anything which is maybe a little bit of gripe for you that you would change or that you would want on it? So
I guess in a nutshell, it's kind of a case that you just feel at home using it straight away, and it's the closest thing to two turntables and a mixer in this sort of controller setup I think you're gonna ever get, really. Yeah, and
I get it. I think it just kind of takes out, if you think, like, going off of what you just said, it's the closest thing that you've played on to two turntables and a mixer in controller form.
That is a controller, yeah.
It is a controller, so you can pick this up in one hand, you know, and take it somewhere, and it's like two turntables and a battle mixer. So the portability,
that's the number one. You know, if you're...
The ease of it.
You know, if you get a gig somewhere and you're someone like me, the first thing you think is, what's the setup going to be? Do they even have decks?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of places don't even have them anymore.
No, of course not.
If they do, they're knackered, you know. So the fact that I can just think, right, well, I'll just take this in a little carry bag. I'm sure it comes with a lovely...
Yeah. Well, it doesn't come with it, but...
Well, no, I'm sure you can get
there is a bag available, for sure.
Yeah, so you just know there'll just be no headache. This thing's going to sit there, it's going to work. There's no tech issues. You're going to be able to plug it in and just crack on. You know?
Yeah. So I know, mate, that you are in the market for a battle mixer. Yeah. Would you consider, because this actually is a standalone mixer in itself. Yeah. You can plug your two turntables into this. It's DVS ready for Serato, so you know you don't need your SL4 box that you still take to some places, don't you? Yeah, your dinosaur. And so you know you can use this completely on its own with two turntables plugged into it. Not even like, I mean, mate, you could spin vinyl on this and still use the built-in effects here. Would you consider buying this over just buying a battle mixer in your current, like...
Because I'd consider it, yeah.
Using it as a standalone, but then also when you do have those gigs that don't have your turntables, you can just pick it up and take it.
Because what are you going to, like, it comes down to, like, you know, money, really, I guess, obviously. I guess when I look at a battle mixer and what I'd pay for an S11 or something, I guess if S9's discontinued, I'll get an S11. That's a fair bit of wonga anyway. But then I've still got the issue of if I want to do a gig, in what's the setup in the decks and stuff like that. So
it's like buying a battle mixer and getting a controller for free.
Yeah,
if you look at it like that.
It solves a big problem, that you can just literally just take that out of the way, and away you go.
But then the other problem, as it were, is that if you were to use it with your turntables, that your turntable's going to be here rather than here.
Yeah, I mean,
which is,
I'm not that much of a scratch guy, so that is a big issue for someone who's a battle guy, who wants to, from deck to deck. With me, at my level, I can probably get around that, and still use it and whatever.
So, mate, I mean, to be fair, I reckon that we could leave it there. Closing statement being that I think the most important thing, because you kept on saying it over and over again, was that you feel completely at home and comfortable on this. You did. Yeah. But it means that you really meant it, right? Yeah, of course, so, from battle mixer and 2 turntables, your first go on this, you were straight on it.
Yeah.
You had that first little thing where you were like, it's maybe a bit too quick, but that was just because this is a smaller platter rather than a 12. Yeah. But you got that within 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. So if you had this for a month, you'd be rolling.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I'll be happy.
So 2 times fresh.
Two times fresh.
2 times fresh. All right, our kids. Thanks for coming down.
Yeah.
We'll get you in. Maybe we could get you in for another video on this Rev7 of me maybe taking you through some of the more advanced stuff.
You could let me borrow it for a month, and then I'll come back and give you my thoughts again.
Nice. He's pushing his luck there. Anyway, guys, look, thank you for watching. Let us know, or let me know your thoughts on the DDJ-REV7 if you've had one. I mean, this has been out for over 6 months now. Let me know your experiences with it. Are you loving it? Are you having your own gripes with it? Drop them in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the DJKit YouTube channel. There's so many more videos. Not just about the Rev7, but the one that I've done will be in the description of this one. And also like it if you think it's good, or dislike it if you think that we've just waffled a load of rubbish. Quite highly likely, I think, my friend. But anyway, guys, until next time, you take care. Peace.